In the last episode, Alex had finally grasped the true nature of the ancient artifact, a relic that held the key to unlocking the secrets of the Aethereian chronicle, a powerful text that could change the course of their struggle against the Puppeteer's tyranny. With this newfound understanding, Alex felt a surge of determination to protect his people and push back against their oppressors. He had also begun to form new alliances, including with Archaea, a skilled warrior who had pledged her loyalty to his cause. I stood at the edge of the ancient tunnel, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. The flickering torches cast eerie shadows on the walls as I pondered my next move. The Puppeteer's forces were closing in, and I knew I had to act fast if I was to have any hope of finding the Aethereian chronicle before they did. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of footsteps echoing through the tunnel. I drew my blaster, my heart racing with anticipation. A figure emerged from the darkness, her face obscured by a hood. "Who are you?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. The figure pushed back its hood, revealing Archaea's determined face. "I've tracked a group of the Puppeteer's soldiers to a nearby outpost," she said, her voice low and urgent. "They're likely to be searching for the chronicle. We need to move, Alex." I nodded, a plan already forming in my mind. "We need to get to the outpost before they do any more damage," I said, tucking my blaster into my belt. "Let's move." As we ran through the winding tunnels, the sound of blaster fire and shouts grew louder. We burst into the outpost, blasters drawn, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The room was a chaotic mess with debris scattered everywhere. I spotted a group of the Puppeteer's soldiers pinned down behind a barricade, their blasters trained on us. We returned fire, the blaster shots echoing off the walls. Archaea took cover behind a nearby pillar, her blaster firing steadily. I joined her, and together we managed to drive the soldiers back. But as the dust settled, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A figure, battered and bruised, was being dragged away by the Puppeteer's soldiers. It was Alara, one of our own. "We have to get her back," I said to Archaea, my voice tight with urgency. Archaea nodded, her face set in a determined expression. "Let's move." We launched a fierce attack, taking out the soldiers one by one. But just as we thought we had the upper hand, a new challenger emerged from the shadows. Lyra, the rival treasure hunter, stood before us, a sly smile spreading across her face. "You're just in time to witness the beginning of the end," she said, her eyes glinting with malice. And with that, she activated a device that sent the outpost into chaos, the walls shuddering and the ground trembling beneath our feet. I felt a jolt of fear as I realized we were in grave danger. The outpost was collapsing and we had to get out fast. But as I turned to Archaea, I saw a look of determination in her eyes. "We can't let Lyra win," she said, her voice firm. I nodded, and together we charged forward, ready to face whatever lay ahead. But as we stumbled through the wreckage, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were walking into a trap, and that our actions would have far-reaching consequences. Previously, Alex discovered the artifact's secrets, leading him to the Aethereian chronicle, and formed an alliance with Archaea. However, Lyra's treachery has put them in a precarious position as the outpost collapses around them. As the device's energy surged, the walls began to crack, and the floor trembled beneath their feet. Archaea's grip on my arm tightened as we struggled to maintain our footing. "We need to find a way out now," she yelled above the din. I nodded, my mind racing for an escape route. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging us into darkness. The air was thick with the acrid smell of burning circuits and ozone. In the darkness, our footsteps echoed off the walls as we stumbled forward, desperate to escape the collapsing outpost. Lyra's maniacal laughter followed us, her words hanging in the air. "You'll never escape the Puppeteer's wrath." I gritted my teeth, determination burning within me. I would not let Lyra win, not when Alara's life hung in the balance, not when the fate of Aetherea teetered on the brink of collapse. As we struggled through the wreckage, the ground gave way beneath us. We plummeted into a hidden chamber, the impact jarring us both. I groggily opened my eyes to find Archaea already on her feet, her blaster at the ready. The room was dimly lit, rows of ancient computers humming softly. "What is this place?" Archaea whispered, her eyes scanning the room. I pushed myself up, surveying our surroundings. The air was stale and the silence was unnerving. Suddenly, the computers sprang to life, the screens flickering with cryptic messages. "I think we've stumbled into the heart of the Aethereian chronicle," I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. Archaea's eyes locked onto mine, a glint of determination burning within them. "Let's uncover its secrets," she said, "and turn the tables on the Puppeteer once and for all." But as we began to decipher the ancient texts, the sound of footsteps echoed from the shadows, Lyra's presence looming over us like a specter of doom. Previously, Alex and Archaea escaped the collapsing outpost, only to stumble into the heart of the Aethereian chronicle held its secrets. But their respite was short-lived, as Lyra's ominous presence loomed over them, threatening to extinguish their spark of resistance once and for all. The air seemed to vibrate with anticipation as Lyra emerged from the shadows, her eyes blazing with a manic intensity. "You fools," she spat, her voice dripping with malice. "You think you can outsmart the Puppeteer? I've been playing you from the beginning, Alex. Every move you've made, every decision has been orchestrated by me." My mind reeled as Lyra's revelation echoed through the chamber, the weight of her words crushing the hope I'd clung to so desperately. Archaea's grip on her blaster tightened, her finger hovering over the trigger as she prepared to take Lyra down. But I held up a hand, staying her shot. "Something's not right." Lyra's words didn't add up. The Puppeteer had always been the mastermind, not Lyra. Unless Lyra was telling the truth. Unless she was more than just a rival treasure hunter. Unless she was the key to unraveling the Puppeteer's true identity. "Prove it," I said, my eyes locked onto Lyra's. "Show me the evidence. Show me how you've been playing me." Lyra's smile spread, her eyes glinting with a sinister light. "Oh, I'll show you, Alex. I'll show you the Puppeteer's greatest secret. And when I do, you'll realize that you've been playing right into their trap all along." As Lyra began to weave her tale, I knew that the stakes had just been raised to a deadly new height. The fate of Aetherea hung in the balance, and I was about to uncover a secret that would change the course of our rebellion forever. Previously, Alex and Archaea stumbled upon the Aethereian chronicle, only to be confronted by Lyra, who claimed to have orchestrated Alex's every move, revealing a shocking truth that threatened to upend the rebellion. Now, as Lyra's words hang in the air like a guillotine's blade, I take a deep breath, steeling myself for the revelation that could shatter everything I thought I knew about our fight against the Puppeteer. "Show me," I repeat, my voice firm, my heart racing with anticipation and fear. Lyra's smile widens, her eyes glinting with an intensity that sends shivers down my spine. "Ah, Alex, you're so predictable. You think you're so clever, don't you? But I've been playing you from the moment we met in that rundown tavern on Nova Haven." Archaea's grip on her blaster tightens, her finger hovering over the trigger, but I hold up a hand, my eyes never leaving Lyra's face. "I need to hear this, no matter how much it might hurt." Lyra takes a step closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "You see, Alex, I've been monitoring your every move, feeding you just enough information to keep you chasing the Puppeteer's tail. And all the while, the real mastermind has been watching, waiting for you to make the next move." My mind reels as Lyra's words settle in like a slow-motion impact. The Puppeteer, the elusive, omniscient figure, was just a puppet itself, a proxy for the true mastermind. And Lyra, the rival treasure hunter, was the one who had been pulling the strings all along. "But why?" I demand, my voice rising. "What do you gain from this elaborate charade?" "Oh, Alex," she says, her voice dripping with malice, "I gain control. I gain the power to shape the course of this rebellion, to dictate who lives and who dies. And with the Aethereian chronicle, I gain the key to unlocking the Puppeteer's true identity." As Lyra's words hang in the air, I realize that I've been blind, that I've been right in front of me all along. The stakes have just been raised to a deadly new height, and running out of time. I glance at Archaea, her eyes locked onto Lyra, her finger still hovering over the trigger. It's time to make a choice. Do I trust her or do I take her down? The fate of Aethereian hangs in the balance and the clock is ticking. Previously, Alex and Archaea discovered the Aethereian chronicle, only to be confronted by Lyra, who revealed she was the mastermind manipulating Alex's every move, and the puppeteer was just a proxy. The stakes have reached a deadly new height and Alex must make a choice: trust Lyra or take her down. As I gaze into Lyra's icy stare, a chill runs through my veins. I feel like I've been punched in the gut, all the air knocked out of me. The room spins and for a moment, I'm back in that rundown tavern on Nova Haven where this whole charade began. But I force myself to focus, to analyze the situation, to think like the leader I've become. I take a deep breath, my mind racing with strategies, possibilities, and outcomes. I glance at Archaea, her eyes fixed on Lyra, her finger still poised on the trigger. One false move and this whole situation could escalate into a bloodbath. Tell me more, I say, trying to sound calm, trying to buy time. What do you plan to do with the chronicle? Lyra's smile widens, her eyes glinting with excitement. Oh, Alex, I've been waiting for this moment for so long. With the chronicle, I'll be able to unlock the puppeteer's true identity and then I'll be the one pulling the strings. As she speaks, I notice a faint movement out of the corner of my eye. It's Dr. Orion creeping up behind Lyra, her eyes locked on the rival treasure hunter. My heart skips a beat, and I force myself to maintain my poker face, to keep my eyes on her, to keep the conversation going. And what about the rebellion? I press on, trying to stall for time. What about the people Hove died? Hove fought alongside me. Lyra shrugs, a careless gesture. Collateral damage, nothing more. The end justifies the means. Dr. Orion takes another step closer, her hands flexing into fists. I know she's waiting for the signal, waiting for me to give the go-ahead to take Lyra down. But I hesitate, my mind racing with doubts. Can I trust Dr. Orion? Can I trust Archaea? Or am I just going to have to go it alone? I take a deep breath, making my decision. Lyra, you're not going anywhere, I say, my voice firm, my heart pounding. We're going to take you down and we're going to take back control of this rebellion. As I speak, Dr. Orion makes her move, sneaking up behind Lyra and disarming her. Archaea steps forward, her blaster trained on Lyra's temple. But Lyra just laughs, a cold, mirthless sound. You fools, she says, her eyes glinting with malice. You think you can take me down? I've planned for every contingency. I've planned for this moment. And with that, the air around us erupts into chaos as Lyra's hidden allies burst into the room, blasters blazing, and were thrown into a desperate fight for survival. Previously, Alex discovered Lyra's true intentions and was forced to make a choice: trust her or take her down. As the stakes reached a deadly new height, Alex made his move, but Lyra was prepared, and a fierce battle ensued. The sound of blasters and screams fills the ancient tunnels, and thrown into a maelstrom of chaos. Lyra's allies, a mix of seasoned warriors and desperate mercenaries, pour into the chamber, their guns blazing. Dr. Orion and Archaea take cover behind nearby pillars, returning fire with precision, but were vastly outnumbered. I sprint towards Lyra, determined to put an end to this charade once and for all. A stray energy bolt grazes my shoulder and I stumble, my vision blurring. As I regain my footing, Lyra appears before me, a wicked grin spreading across her face. You were always meant to lose, she sneers, her blaster trained on my heart. Suddenly, a brilliant light illuminates the tunnel and the air is charged with energy. The ground begins to tremble and Lyra's eyes flicker towards the chronicle, still clutched in my hand. A burst of ancient power courses through me and I feel the artifact's secrets coursing through my arms, as if channeling the primal energy of Aethereian itself. With a fierce cry, I unleash a blast of energy, knocking Lyra off balance and sending her allies scattering. The chronicle's power washes over me, imbuing me with an unshakable conviction. I stand tall, my eyes locked on Lyra as the battle rages on. Dr. Orion and Archaea take advantage of the reprieve, methodically picking off Lyra's allies. But Lyra herself remains, her eyes blazing with fury, her blaster still trained on me. The air is electric with tension as we engage in a silent stare-down, the fate of Aethereian hanging precariously in the balance. In that instant, I realize that the chronicle's power is just a tool but a symbol of hope. I raise the artifact, its light illuminating the chamber, and Lyra's eyes falter, if only for a moment. That's all the opening I require. "You've lost, Lyra," I declare, my voice resonating with conviction. "It's over. You've manipulated us, used us, and now it's our turn to take back control. Surrender and we might spare your life." Lyra's gaze wavers, and for a fleeting instant I glimpse the glimmer of doubt. But then her mask slips back into place and her eyes flash with malice. "You're no better than me, Alex," she snarls. "You're just as ruthless, just as willing to do whatever it takes to achieve your goals. And y'all stop at nothing to win." With a cold smile, Lyra triggers a hidden mechanism and the chamber begins to collapse, sealing our fate. As the ancient tunnels crumble around us, I've underestimated Lyra's cunning once more. Dr. Orion and Archaea rush to my side, their blasters still firing at her escaping allies. We're now racing against time to escape the crumbling tunnels and Lyra's deadly trap. The chronicle's power still coursing through me, I lead the charge, shouldering through the debris. As the fate of Aethereian hangs precariously in the balance previously, Alex discovered Lyra's true intentions and a fierce battle ensued. As the stakes reached a deadly new height, Alex made his move, but Lyra was prepared, and she triggered a hidden mechanism, causing the ancient tunnels to collapse around them. As the dust settles, I glance around at the rubble-strewn chamber, the air thick with the acrid smell of smoke and ozone. Dr. Orion and Archaea stand panting, their faces set with determination. We've managed to escape the initial collapse, but the tunnels are still crumbling and we need to move fast. With the chronicle's power still coursing through me, I spot a narrow opening in the wall, partially hidden by debris. Without hesitation, I sprint towards it, the others hot on my heels. We burst through the opening, finding ourselves in a narrow, winding stairway that descends deep into the heart of Elysium. As we descend, the sounds of Lyra's allies grow fainter, replaced by the ominous rumble of shifting beneath our feet. The stairway begins to shake and I stumble, my hand grasping for the railing. The chronicle's power surges through me and I sense the ancient technology hidden within the walls, a delicate balance of energies that's starting to destabilize. "Keep moving," I shout as the stairway begins to disintegrate behind us. We're racing against time, and the tunnel's collapse is mere moments away. Finally, we emerge into a vast, dimly lit cavern, the ceiling lost in darkness. The air is heavy with the scent of ages, and I sense the weight of history bearing down upon us. In the center of the cavern stands an ancient structure, a monolithic spire that pierces the darkness like a shard of light. Dr. Orion's eyes light up as she takes in the spire. "This is it," she whispers, her voice full of awe. "The heart of Elysium, the source of Aethereian's power." I gaze up at the monolith, a sense of wonder and trepidation through me. This is it, the key to unlocking the secrets of the ancient Aethereians. But as I approach the spire, I realize that we're not alone. A figure emerges from the shadows, a towering humanoid form with wings like a seraph. Its eyes burn with an inner fire and its gaze is ancient, carrying the weight of eons. "Greetings, Alex," it says, its voice like thunder. "I am the guardian of Elysium, and you have entered this sacred place uninvited." My hand tightens around the chronicle as I face the guardian. I sense the power of Aethereian coursing through me, but I also know that I'm not the only one who wields it. Lyra's still out there, waiting for her chance to strike. And with the guardian standing before me, I must tread carefully, lest I spark a conflict that could doom us all. "I mean no disrespect," I say, my voice steady. "We're here to reclaim Aethereian from the Puppeteer's tyranny. Will you stand with us or against us?" The guardian's gaze pierces me as if weighing my intentions. And then, in a movement that's both graceful and terrifying, it spreads its wings, the sound of their unfolding like thunder. The fate of our quest hangs in the balance as I await the Guardian's answer. Previously, Alex and his allies escaped the collapsing tunnels, only to find themselves face to face with the Guardian of Elysium, a powerful, winged humanoid who questions their intentions, leaving their fate hanging in the balance. The Guardian's wings beat the air, sending shockwaves through the cavern. The sound resonates within me, a primal fear awakening as I realize that I'm not just negotiating with a powerful being, but also with the very fabric of Aetherea itself. The Guardian's gaze bores into mine, searching for any sign of deceit. I sense its ancient wisdom, a wealth of knowledge gathered over millennia, and I know that any misstep will seal our doom. I take a deep breath, letting the chronicle's power guide me. I understand the gravity of our presence here, I say, my voice laced with conviction. We're not treasure hunters driven by greed or ambition. We're the last hope of a dying world, fighting against oppression and tyranny. We want to restore Aetherea to its former glory and free our people from the Puppeteer's grasp. The Guardian's wings slow their beat, its gaze still piercing, but I sense a hint of curiosity. It's listening, weighing my words against the whispers of the ancient chronicle. I take another step forward, my hand extended, palm up in a gesture of sincerity. We're not here to desecrate or pillage, I continue. We're here to learn, to understand the secrets of this ancient world, and to harness its power against those who would seek to destroy us. Will you stand with us, Guardian? Will you help us unlock the secrets of Elysium and forge a brighter future for Aetherea? The Guardian's gaze lingers on me, its eyes burning with an inner fire. Then, in a movement that's both sudden and deliberate, it lowers its wings, the sound of their folding like a gentle breeze. I will grant you an audience, Alex, the Guardian declares, its voice like thunder on a summer day. I will present you with a trial, one that will determine the fate of your quest. Are you prepared to face the challenges that lie ahead? My heart skips a beat as I nod, my resolve hardened. I've come too far to turn back now. I glance at Dr. Orion and Archaea, their faces set with determination, and I know that we're in this together as a team. I'm ready, Guardian, I say, my voice firm. Present your trial and let's begin. Previously, Alex and his allies faced the Guardian of Elysium, who questioned their intentions and left their fate hanging in the balance. Now the Guardian presents Alex with a trial that will determine the fate of his quest. As I stand before the Guardian, a sense of trepidation courses through my veins. What challenges lie ahead? Will I be able to prove myself worthy of the Guardian's trust? I take a deep breath, mentally preparing myself for whatever trials await. Very well, Alex, the Guardian says, its voice echoing off the cavern walls. To prove your worth, you must navigate the labyrinth of reflections. Within its walls, you will confront the echoes of Aetherea's past, the shadows of your own fears and the whispers of your deepest doubts. The Guardian raises its hand and the air before me shimmers, revealing a glowing portal. Are you prepared to face the labyrinth, Alex? It asks, its gaze piercing. I nod, my heart pounding. I've faced countless dangers before, but this is different. This is personal. I'm ready, I say, stepping forward. Dr. Orion and Archaea's faces flash with concern, but they know they can't accompany me on this journey. I'm alone in this. As I step through the portal, the Guardian's words echo in my mind. The labyrinth will show you the truth of yourself. Are you prepared to face it? The portal closes behind me, and I find myself standing in a vast, labyrinthine structure. Walls of silver stone stretch out in every direction, lined with mirrors that seem to stretch on forever. I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what lies ahead. Let's get started, I whisper to myself and begin my journey. I navigate the twisting corridors, my own image staring back at me from every angle. The mirrors seem to ripple, distorting my reflection, and I feel a sense of unease growing within me. Suddenly, I hear whispers in the darkness, the echoes of Aetherea's past. Alex, you're a failure, it says. You'll never be able to save your people. The words cut deep and I feel a pang of self-doubt. I know I've made mistakes, but I've also learned from them. I've grown as a leader, as a person. "Am not a failure," I say aloud, my voice echoing off the walls. "I've faced challenges and I've overcome them. I've grown stronger and I've learned from my mistakes." The whispers grow louder, more urgent, but I refuse to let them consume me. I press on, deeper into the labyrinth. Suddenly, I come face to face with a figure from my past, Lyra, the rival treasure hunter. She sneers at me, her eyes blazing with anger. "Y'all never be able to outsmart me," she says. "Y'all never be able to stop me." I feel a flash of anger, but I know I can't let it consume me. I take a deep breath and focus on the present. I say, "I've outsmarted you before, Lyra. I can do it again." The image of Lyra vanishes, and am left standing alone in the labyrinth. I realize that the shadows of my fears, the whispers of my doubts, they are all within me. I've been carrying them with me the entire time. I take a deep breath and let go of the doubts, the fears. Am not perfect, but I've learned from my mistakes. I've grown stronger. As I stand tall, the mirrors around me shatter and the labyrinth begins to dissolve. Am back in the cavern, facing the Guardian. "You have passed the trial, Alex," it says, its gaze filled with a sense of pride. "You have faced the shadows within yourself and emerged stronger. You have shown that you are worthy of wielding the power of Aethereian." But it continues, its voice growing more serious. "There is one more challenge ahead, one that will test your resolve, your courage, and your will to succeed. Are you prepared to face it, Alex?" I nod, my heart pounding with anticipation. What lies ahead? What new challenge will I face? Am ready, whatever it is. "Let's do this," I say, my voice firm. The Guardian nods and the cavern begins to shimmer. The air parts and a figure emerges from the shadows. It's Alara, but not as I know her. Her eyes are cold, hard, and her smile is a cruel mockery of the warmth I've seen before. "Welcome, Alex," she says, her voice dripping with malice. "I've been waiting for you. Let's finally settle the score between us." My heart skips a beat as I realize that the greatest challenge I'll face is not an external enemy, but someone I thought I could trust previously. Alex navigated the labyrinth of reflections, confronting his deepest fears and doubts, and emerged victorious. Now he faces a new challenge, one that will test his resolve, courage, and will to succeed. "Alara, what's going on?" I ask, trying to hide the shock and confusion. The Alara I know would never speak with such malice. "Something is wrong, very wrong. I've been waiting for this moment, Alex," she says, her eyes cold and calculating. "You've been so blind, so trusting. You never saw the truth about me, about my intentions." I take a step back, trying to process what's happening. The Guardian stands silently, watching the scene unfold. "Alara, stop this," I say, trying to appeal to whatever good is left in her. "We're on the same side, we're fighting for the same thing, freedom for Aethereian." Alara's laughter is like ice shards cutting through the air. "You're so naive," she says. "I've been playing you all along, manipulating you to get what I want. And now it's time for you to be of use to me." I'm trying to wrap my head around what's happening. How could Alara, the person I trusted, be behind this? "Dr. Orion, Archaea, help!" I shout, hoping they'll come to my aid, but it's too late. Alara raises her hand and a blast of energy knocks me off my feet. I crash to the ground, dazed and disoriented. When I come to, I find myself in a dark cell. Alara stands outside, a smirk on her face. "You should have seen it coming, Alex," she says. "You should have known I was playing you from the start." I realize that Alara's betrayal is not just a personal blow, it's a strategic move. She's been working with the Puppeteer all along. The stakes have just escalated to a whole new level. I grit my teeth, trying to push away the feelings of hurt and betrayal. I need to think clearly to come up with a plan to escape and take down Alara and the Puppeteer. As I sit in the darkness, I hear a faint whisper in my ear. "You're not alone, Alex. You're not alone." I look around, trying to see who's speaking, but there's no one there. The voice is in my head, urging me on. I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what lies ahead. I'll escape this cell. I'll take down Alara and the Puppeteer, and I'll free Aethereian from their grasp. The voice in my head echoes louder, a beacon of hope in the darkness. I'm ready to face what's coming. Bring it on. Previously, Alex was betrayed by Alara, who revealed her alliance with the Puppeteer, knocking him unconscious and imprisoning him in a dark cell. As I sit in the darkness, I hear the voice again, louder this time. You're not alone, Alex. You're not alone. I focus on the sound, trying to pinpoint its origin. Suddenly, the cell is bathed in a soft light. I blink, adjusting to the sudden change. A figure emerges from the shadows. Archaea, I ask, hopeful, is that you? The figure steps forward, revealing a woman with striking features and long, flowing hair. Lyrian, she says, her voice like music. I've been watching you, Alex. I've seen your courage, your determination. You're the key to freeing Aetherea. Wary, unsure if I can trust another stranger, but there's something about Lyrian that resonates with me. Maybe it's the sincerity in her voice or the kindness in her eyes. Whatever it is, I decide to take a chance on her. What do you know about Alara? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Lyrian's face darkens. Alara was once a member of our order, she says. She was tasked with guiding you, but she was corrupted by the Puppeteer's influence. She's been playing you from the start, manipulating you to get what she wants. I nod, trying to process the revelation. And what do you want, Lyrian? I ask, my eyes locked on hers. I want to help you, she says. I want to guide you to the Aethereian chronicle to help you master the ancient technologies. Together, we can take down Alara and the Puppeteer. I take a deep breath, weighing my options. I can trust Lyrian or I can go it alone. But something about her words resonates with me. Maybe it's the sincerity in her voice or the kindness in her eyes. Whatever it is, I decide to take a chance on her. Okay, I say, my voice firm. Let's do this. Lyrian smiles, a radiant expression that lights up the cell. Then let's begin, she says. Our journey starts now. As we leave the cell, I realize that I've made a new ally, one who will help me navigate the treacherous landscapes ahead. And with Lyrian by my side, I feel a sense of hope, of determination. I know that I can take down Alara and the Puppeteer and free Aetherea from their grasp. But as we make our way through the winding corridors, I sense that we're not alone. There's something lurking in the shadows, watching us, waiting for its moment to strike. I grit my teeth, steeling myself for what lies ahead. Bring it on. Previously, Alex, betrayed by Alara's alliance with the Puppeteer, imprisoned in a dark cell, and Lyrian, a mysterious woman, has just offered to guide him to the Aethereian chronicle to help him master ancient technologies and take down Alara and the Puppeteer. We navigate through the winding corridors, Lyrian leading the way. I'm on high alert, my senses tuned to the subtlest hint of danger. The air is thick with tension, and I can feel the weight of the unknown pressing down on me. As we turn a corner, a group of shadowy figures emerges from the darkness. My hand instinctively goes to the hilt of my sword, ready for battle. But Lyrian raises a calming hand, her eyes locked on the group. Friends, she says, her voice a gentle breeze. We mean no harm. The group parts, revealing a figure I recognize, Dr. Orion, his eyes blazing with determination. Alex, he exclaims, rushing forward. I've been searching everywhere for you. When I heard about Alara's betrayal, I knew I had to find you. I nod. A mix of emotions coursing through me. Relief, gratitude, and a sense of belonging wash over me as Dr. Orion's words validate my decision to trust Lyrian. Together, we form a solid front, a united force against the Puppeteer's tyranny. Lyrian leads us through the ancient tunnels, navigating treacherous landscapes and hidden dangers. We fight off rival treasure hunters and overcome treacherous obstacles, our bond growing stronger with each challenge. We edge closer to our ultimate goal, the Aethereian chronicle. As we near our destination, the air thickens with anticipation. We're on the cusp of something monumental, something that will change the course of Aetherea's history. Finally, we stand before the entrance to the chronicle, an ancient doorway guarded by powerful Aethereian technologies. Lyrian steps forward, her hands weaving intricate patterns in the air. The technologies respond, whirring to life as they recognize her authority. With Lyrian's guidance, I master the technologies, my mind expanding as I tap into the ancient power. I feel the pulse of the planet, its rhythms and secrets unfolding before me like an open book. With the chronicle's secrets at my command, I spearhead a daring raid against the Puppeteer's stronghold, Dr. Orion and Lyrian flanking me. We disrupt supply lines, freeing key allies and kindling an irreversible spark of resistance. As the stakes escalate, I confront my deepest doubts, emerging stronger and inspiring my companions to persevere, fueling hope and resilience. Bolstered by unexpected challenges and revelations, I lead my people toward a brighter future, determined to free their planet and triumph over oppression. The final battle approaches, its outcome uncertain. But one thing is clear: I've grown into a leader, a symbol of hope, igniting a beacon of light guiding my people through the darkness and toward a future where freedom and courage are the only constants. With a deep breath, I charge forward, Lyrian and Dr. Orion by my side. The Puppeteer awaits, its dark influence spreading like a stain across the planet. But I'm ready. I've come too far to turn back now. The battle rages on, a maelstrom of fire and steel, ancient technologies clashing in a spectacular display of light and sound. I face Alara, her eyes blazing with a fierce determination. We engage in a duel, our swords clashing in a blur of movement. In a flash of insight, I see the truth: Alara was never the enemy. She was a victim of the Puppeteer's manipulation, a pawn in its game of tyranny. With this newfound understanding, I disarm Alara, freeing her from the Puppeteer's grasp. Together, we launch a final assault on the Puppeteer's stronghold. The outcome hangs in the balance as our combined forces clash in a climactic battle. The fate of Aethereian hangs in the balance. In the heat of the battle, I find my moment. With Lyrian's guidance, I master the ancient technologies, channeling their power into a blast that shatters its stronghold. The Puppeteer's influence begins to wane, its dark grip on the planet loosening. As the dust settles, I stand victorious, surrounded by my companions, my people. We've done it. We've freed Aethereian from the Puppeteer's tyranny. The planet begins to heal, its rhythms and secrets unfolding before me like an open book. I look up at the sky, watching as the stars begin to shine bright once more, symbolizing a brighter future where freedom and courage are the only constants. Epilogue. As I stand on the threshold of a new era, I'm approached by Lyrian, her eyes shining with a knowing glint. "The journey doesn't end here, Alex," she says, her voice like a gentle breeze. "There are new horizons to explore, new mysteries to unravel. Are you ready?" I nod, a smile spreading across my face. I'm ready. I've grown into a leader, a symbol of hope. And with Lyrian by my side, I know that together we can face whatever the future holds.